Welcome to Movie Rehash. Today, I'm going to explain an action, thriller film released in 2019, titled, John Wick, Chapter 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. If you have not seen its first part, I will give the link in description below. Let's start. John Wick goes to a warehouse owned by Abram Tarasov to reclaim his car. Abram seeks revenge on John because John had previously killed Abram's brother Vigo and nephew Yosef. John defeats all of Abram's guards before retrieving his car. However, as he leaves, many more of Abram's henchmen begin attacking John. Despite his car getting damaged and the henchmen ramming into him, John persists and eliminates all the attackers. He then proceeds to Abram's office. Inside, John and Abram share a drink. Instead of taking revenge, John chooses to spare Abram as a gesture of peace. Abram wonders if John can truly find inner peace amidst the violence. John goes back to his house where he has the dog he rescued earlier, but the dog still doesn't have a name. He contacts Aurelio and asks him to retrieve the badly damaged car. Although the car is in really bad shape, Aurelio believes he can repair it. Once Aurelio departs, John buries his weapons again, this time under cement. He believes he's finished with his life as an assassin. While reminiscing, he watches a video on his mobile phone featuring himself and his deceased wife Helen. During the evening, John receives a visit from a fellow assassin named Santino D'Antonio. Santino brings out a marker that John had given him in the past. This marker signifies a solemn promise made with blood, a way out of the assassin life when John chose to be with Helen. Santino's request is for John to assassinate his own sister, Gianna, who is on the verge of gaining a powerful position within the High Table, a group of influential assassins. Despite being aware of the dire consequences, John declines the offer. After leaving John's residence, Santino returns with an RPG launcher, intending to obliterate John's house. Fortunately, the dog survives this ordeal. John visits the Continental Hotel to have a conversation with Winston. They talk about the marker and the task Santino has asked John to carry out. Unfortunately, Winston is unable to intervene due to the binding nature of the oath John took. If John persists in rejecting the task, his life will become a target. Following this talk, John departs from the hotel, entrusting the dog's care to the concierge named Karen. John manages to locate Santino and eventually gives in to his demands, agreeing to undertake a single job. Santino's request is for John to eliminate his own sister, Gianna, who is on the verge of gaining a prominent position within the High Table, an influential association of assassins. John protests that this target is extremely challenging, but Santino insists that he specifically chose John for this task because it's seemingly unattainable. He requires the expertise of the very best. Feeling trapped, John makes his way to Rome to carry out the assignment. He lodges at the Continental Hotel in the city, which is owned by Julius. While in Rome, John arranges meetings with various individuals to acquire the necessary weapons for his mission, like bullet-resistant suits from a tailor, obtain maps of the catacombs from a historian, and secures weapons from an armorer to eliminate Gianna. John attends a party that is Gianna's coronation and welcome to the High Table. She is accompanied by her loyal bodyguard Cassian. John sneaks into Gianna's room and confronts her alone. He tells her that Santino sent him. She warns him of the events that will unfold once she is dead. She chooses to die on her own terms and slits her wrists. Gianna lays in a pool as she dies. John holds her hand and puts a bullet in her head to make it look like he killed her. Cassian sees John as he's going away. When Cassian finds out John is on the job, they both take out their guns and fire at each other. But their special clothes stop the bullets, so they don't get hurt. John goes into some underground tunnels where he stashed weapons beforehand. Lots of Santino's helpers come after John there. They want to make sure no problems are left by killing him. John understands that Santino is betraying him and defends himself by taking down all the helpers. Afterward, he escapes. Cassian catches John, and they fight until they break through a window into the Rome Continental. Because it's against the rules to spill blood there, John and Cassian go to the bar and share a drink. John tells Cassian about the marker that made him target Santino's sister. Cassian gets it, but he can't let the person who killed his ward go without consequences. Cassian pays for John's drink and goes away. John then notices Ares, Santino's bodyguard, who can't speak. She uses sign language to tell him they'll meet again. He replies with sign language, warning her that he'll harm her if she keeps following him. As John heads back to New York City, Santino offers a $7 million contract to eliminate John. This contract is shared with all the nearby assassins. In a subway, a woman who appears to be playing the violin actually draws a concealed gun and tries to attack John. He manages to subdue her without causing lethal harm. Another individual, a heavyset Asian man, also makes an attempt on John's life but is swiftly neutralized. Later in the subway, two men endeavor to kill John, and he defends himself by using a pencil in a highly effective manner. Cassian locates John as he boards the subway and a fight ensues within the train. John injures Cassian by stabbing him, with the blade piercing close to his aorta. John chooses to spare Cassian's life, citing professional respect. He cautions Cassian that pulling out the knife would lead to fatal bleeding and then departs, leaving Cassian on the subway. Wounded, John looks for what seems to be a homeless person and requests assistance. John offers a coin in exchange for being taken to him. The homeless individual then surprises and eliminates two men disguised as janitors, who are searching for John. Him happens to be the Bowery King, an assassin who had a past encounter with John, resulting in a scar on his neck. John chose not to kill him back then, leading the Bowery King to believe he's invulnerable. Aware of the reward for capturing John, the Bowery King is tempted to accept the contract, but John persuades him to think otherwise. With the Bowery King's assistance, John manages to find out where Santino is. John goes to a museum where Santino plans to join the High Table. John interrupts the event, and when Santino's guards try to stop him, he defeats them all. John pursues Santino through a mirrored hall and then confronts Ares. John overpowers Ares, injuring her severely, and unlike Cassian, he doesn't show her any leniency. Santino hurries to the New York Continental for safety, aware that he's safe from harm while inside. In the lounge, John locates Santino. Despite Winston's attempt to pacify him, John fatally shoots Santino in the head. Later, John retrieves his dog from Karen. The following day, John goes to the park accompanied by his dog to meet Winston. There, Winston reveals that due to John's lethal act on Continental premises, the High Table has intensified the contract, extending it to all assassins worldwide. To comply with the rules, Winston must label John as excommunicado. However, he grants John a 1-hour head start before the contract becomes active. The park is suddenly filled with assassins, making it clear that they are all focused on John. In response, John instructs Winston to inform everyone that any pursuit will result in fatal consequences. Winston agrees to convey the message. John departs as Winston disseminates the warning. Every individual in the park recognizes John's identity and their shared objective. John has no choice but to flee, taking his dog with him. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.